Alright, today I'm talking about a hinge release. So I just picked up this Scott Select at my local shop, and it's the first time I've ever used a hinge. And I have certain things that I love about it and certain things that I don't like about it. One thing I don't like about it is, when you draw, all your weight is on these two fingers, and to me that's really uncomfortable. So what I did is I set the release really cold. That's where my click is. So having it really cold allows me to, instead of drawing like this, allows me to get a little bit more weight on the other fingers, and so it's a lot more comfortable. I get to my anchor, it clicks. That's one thing that, shooting this release, one reason I did that, to where it was a little colder. There's my click. Is look at these two fingers right here. They're overlapping and they can get a little crowded, and so that's part of the reason I like it a little cooler. I can get more weight on the other fingers and have a little bit more room for my thumb and index to clear. That, and it makes it feel closer to this. This is my Scott Sigma, which is a thumb button. And I've got this release set not hot, but I can just settle into it and kind of pull through my shot. But I was getting target panic with this release, like in that 3D shoots and stuff. I was punching it, and so I went and picked up this hinge, and I think that's helped definitely. And I may switch back to this once I get my target panic fixed. But I think this hinge is definitely a little bit more consistent. Now that could just be me, but that's just what I think. And like I said, I've got this thing set really short travel and maybe medium weight. And like I said, I've got this thing set really cold. There's my click, and there's fire. Another thing is a trigger release. I haven't used one of these in months, and I picked one up this evening and shot it a little bit, and it feels nice to come back to it, but as far as like how comfortable it is, but it's just not the thumb or the hinge. But I mean, you can shoot a trigger accurately. But I mean, this one here is pretty snappy. But same thing with that thumb button, I was getting target panic. So actually I started with this release. This was my first release. It's True Fire or something. Then I went to this, I went to a cheap Amazon Carter Wise Choice. And it was great until it broke like a weekend and sent an arrow flying into a power pole. So after that, I spent the extra $220 and got this one, the Scott Sigma, which I like. It's nice. It's got a lot of adjustability as far as trigger travel. You can change the angle of the barrel if you want it more. I don't know the angle. I feel like right there it matches the angle of my thumb. And I put it pretty far forward so that I could wrap around it. And I've got the travel set to almost nothing, but I don't know. This release is more comfortable on the draw because there's even weight, but I feel like it's not as consistent as the hinge. And that's kind of where I'm torn, because I like obviously I want the consistency, but it's not comfortable. But anyways, so those are different releases. Another thing I want to talk about is whether or not they hit the same. Now, a lot of people say that, you know, a hinge and a thumb button and a trigger release are all going to hit differently. And I believe there is some truth to that, but I think within like 40 yards, I think there's going to be such little difference that when it comes to hunting, you know, if you're only shooting 40 yards, which is going to be my max, I think that close, I don't think it is really that much of a difference. But that's what this next part is going to be, showing, you know, how far apart they shoot. And I'm going to be shooting at 55 yards. So really any error could be me. And, you know, I may come back and revisit this another day and move up a little closer. But 50 yards is where I chose to shoot it. So I'll put that in right here. Alright, we are out here at 54-ish, 55 maybe. I'm going to start with the hinge. The hinge is going to be Illuminoc. Alright, now we got red Fletch, which is going to be our thumb button. And our orange Fletch is going to be our TrueFire trigger. Alright, so here's the shot. Here's the trigger up here, the thumb, and the hinge, all aiming at the center. So the thumb does hit a little bit different, but that could have been my error at 50 yards. The trigger definitely hits different. And it could be a whole lot of things. It could be a different anchor, it could be I'm not holding the exact same spot, but oh well. But there is a groundhog up here somewhere. There he is. I'm getting ready to go and try and shoot. I just looked back at that video while I was editing it, and it's hard to tell if I hit that groundhog or not. He acted like I did, but I went up there and I didn't see no blood, or I didn't see him either. I saw the hole he went into, but I didn't see him in it. But those are my thoughts on the release. One day I'm going to revisit this and see if those releases hit the same once you scoot up a little bit. Because honestly, in hunting situations, you're not going to be shooting past 40 yards, or I'm not going to, at least. So as long as they hit somewhat close, you know, within 40 yards, that's all that matters. But we'll revisit it another day. Thanks for watching.